stand up. Stand up! Hands in the air or I shoot this one too.
Just run out.
Shut the fuck up!
Stop! Stop!
You.
Just let him go.
He killed my friend.
No, I did. I was looking for you. I didn't mean to hurt them. I know why you killed Joel. He did what he did to save me. I'm the one that you want. Just let him go.
I let you live. I let you live. And you wasted it.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing. I hope today is the day we earn that subscription. Only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. I want to get into The Last of Us, the last episode of The Last of Us of Season 2, Episode 7, entitled Convergence. Now, basically means that all stories are converging upon this point. All the little subplots, all the little stuff. And basically it starts off for Jesse, and it starts off for Jesse and Dina back at the theater while Ellie was off doing her Nora thing, right? Getting separated from Jesse and Dina. And it was they had to get the arrow out of Dina's leg, right? Now, Jesse's doing his best to disinfect the area, get her ready, because you don't want to pull the bolt out, you want to shove it, you want to make it go all the way through, because if you pull it out, the arrow part is going to cause more damage going that way, as opposed to the shaft sliding through to the other side of, to make an exit out of your body. He offers her whiskey. She denies it. She also was brought up about how she said she can't die. Not that I don't want to die. Not that I want to live or anything. She's like, I can't die. So Jesse's starting to kind of put some of these clues together. He's a pretty smart fella. And basically, at that point, Ellie comes back. Jesse tests her, asks her the name of her horse. She answers correctly. She comes in, and her and Dina talk for a little bit as Dina's trying to help clean up some of her wounds on her back. And Ellie is finally honest about what happened that day with Joel and the Fireflies and the hospital and everything. And Dina you can tell, immediately changes up her body language, her tone, and says basically, we have to go back home. That's done. That at least her part of this whole thing is done. After that, Jesse and Ellie decide to go looking for Tommy, of course, Joel's brother, because he came with Jesse to look for Elle and for Dina. They wind up finding him in a way. I'll get to that in a second. But pretty much Jesse is making Ellie aware that she's pretty much a selfish person. Not that he dislikes her or hates her, but her selfishness is causing more issues to people around her than what she's actually going through. Basically saying she's been coddled too long with certain things. I agree. Maybe he doesn't know everything about her and some of the things that she has to go through, as far as knowing that she's immune. She has to keep getting bit from everybody because they're going to think she's going to change. And there's a lot of stuff going on. She recently seen Joel bite the big one. So there's understanding to that degree with a lot of these things, but everybody else that's living in the apocalypse is living a hard life also. They also have a horror story that they survived in order to get to where Jackson is or some other place, you know what I mean? Even if you look at the wolves and the scars, so to speak, the seraphims, um, all those people found each other, you know what I mean? And that's one part of this whole thing is community. Because Jesse's explaining to her at one point that he had an opportunity to leave Jackson when these band of travelers came traveling through, find people, stayed a week, they traded with them and stuff and moved on. And Jesse had happened to fall in love with a woman that was with them and had a chance to go, but decided to stay because of the people who raised him, the loyalty to those people, and the fact that he was being kind of groomed to lead Jackson. You know, so he couldn't be selfish. And he had people relying on him, and he now knows, he acknowledges, he knows that Dina's pregnant and that he's got to make it home. And Ellie takes offense to, oh, I'm a bad person, and they get distracted at one point by a Seraphim getting surrounded by WLF members, some teenager, and they basically they took him and were gonna do whatever to him. Ellie wanted to go save him, and Jesse stopped her. Ellie got mad at him because he was using logic. He says, I'm not getting involved in someone else's war. I'm not getting involved in someone else's shit while I'm trying to get a pregnant, injured woman home. Not even woman, as an injured pregnant girl home that is my child in her belly. I'm trying to get us home. I'm not trying to get killed for somebody else that I don't even know. And later on in the scene, it's not even like it's almost proven like it wouldn't have even been worth it to do that anyway, to save this kid from the Seraphites. All right. They finally get to the area where Tommy is at because over the walkie they hear that there's a sniper trying to keep WLF members away from a certain area because it's Tommy trying not to be discovered. Ellie decides not to go with Jesse because she finds out where Abby's at. Okay, she realizes from her perspective that not only do they discover where Tommy's at, she discovers where Abby's at. And again, Jesse trying to show that there's people relying on us. We gotta be better than what our own desires are, and for the community, the betterment of the community. And that's when she says, "Fuck the community," right? Where was everyone from my community when I seen him get 9 iron to death, right? And everyone voted against me. If everyone would have voted for me, you would have been here anyway. He lets her know that he voted against her because of her selfish ways. This seems to keep coming back up that her desire, her tunnel vision for revenge is putting everybody at risk and has put everybody at risk. This isn't some cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers type of fantasy where you think that you can just go into somewhere and not have any consequences or real change of thoughts or relationships that people around you have. Because we're already seeing Jesse and Dina kind of looking at her and interacting with her in a way that was different from the beginning of season 2. They're kind of realizing that she's really not about like when she gets something in her mind. There's no, she becomes a bird dog. That's it. Um, so she leaves Jesse behind to go find Tommy. There are so many things in this episode that could have made her turn around and say, "Forget it." At one point, she gets capsized. At one point, she discovers a bunch of WLF members in boats coming to where she was about to go, and she thought they were all going to come ashore, and she would have been screwed because she was like almost right there against dozens of people. They only picked up a couple people and took off. All right, cool. Because now at this point, there's a raging storm going on, and she has to take a boat to this little island that's maybe about a mile or whatever off the shore, right? And then on her way there, she gets capsized, and she gets shored on another little island that's in that area where the Seraphites capture her, right? And they were getting ready to put her in a noose. And Ellie sees there's a little kid there, not the same little kid from before, an even smaller child that was like 7 or 8. And she's even telling him, "Come on, kid, I'm not even." And he's like, "So, these people, along with the WLF members, both view outsiders like dangerous people. And so if Jesse would have decided to try to save that person earlier in the episode, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered." So again, it goes to show Ellie that even at this point, when Ellie was able to escape that situation, because the wolves on the boats earlier were attacking now their village, okay, and they had to let her go. She goes then again to try to get Abby, and she finally gets there, okay. There were so many obstacles, so many things that were telling her to go back, go back, go back. She comes across 2 of the people that were with Abby that day, the day that Joel was killed, talking about how they have to go get Abby to them to go do it, to leave, right? And the one woman is like, "I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. This is getting nuts." And that's when they discover that Elle is there with a gun drawn. She wants each of them to point to her on the map where Abby's at, and it better match up, otherwise she's killing both of them. The guy decides to pull a gun on her, she shoots, and the way that him and the woman were positioned and the way Ellie shoots them, the bullet goes through both of them. And the woman exposes that she's pregnant. And now you're looking at this pregnant woman who's reminding her of Dina, her girlfriend, right? Where she should have not been there, especially after finding out she was pregnant. And so the woman dies, and Ellie is sitting there like, wow, because she's trying to tell Jesse earlier that he's not good as a person as he thinks, because he let that kid die earlier, that he didn't want to help. And here she is. She just killed basically a pregnant woman, where the child is there, right? You could tell this is a pregnant woman. Jesse was trying to be someone who's trying to get his child back home. Even if, say, Dina doesn't love him anymore because they both acknowledge that maybe they're not meant to be together, but that's still his child. And he's trying to get his child home, his own child. And here Ellie is, for all her self-righteous indignation to everything, winds up killing a pregnant woman, winds up killing a baby, okay? And if you really look at it, they're just the total selfishness of her. And she has a little mini meltdown after it. Tommy and Jesse find her, bring her back to the theater. When things calm down a little bit, it seems like she's going to be satisfied with Abby maybe still being alive because she's realizing what this revenge tour has been doing to her and the people around her. And so Tommy starts packing up. Jesse and Ellie start talking about, let's just get home and let's just settle down once we get there, and let's just go home, okay? Let's just start fresh and go home. We hear a ruckus out in the main part of the theater. As soon as Jesse and Ellie run out to the lobby, Jesse is taken out. He is Minecrafted by none other than Abby. Abby discovers where the people were at that just killed her friends. And with a gun to Tommy, Ellie stands up and realizes, like, what's what. And Abby, with bruises around her neck, so you wonder where she was at lately, starts screaming at Ellie that you wasted your life that I gave you, you wasted the life I let you have, and shoots. Then the next scene is her waking up a few days prior, on the same day that Ellie and Dina show up in Seattle, because it says Seattle Day 1, indicating that that day that we see Abby waking up is the same day that Dina and Ellie make their way to Seattle, and that's how the season ends. Season 3 is going to probably primarily focus on Abby until then we figure out if Ellie lives or dies, which Ellie is probably living because then why even proceed to season 3? It might even be a season 4 from what I'm hearing. This season's saving grace for me, the episodes throughout, is the cinematography. A lot of it is shot beautifully, the nature shots and everything. Some of the zombie stuff looks cool. But Ellie really just takes it out for me for this show. With her having no one to bounce off of, and her not being, Bella Ramsey not being too good of a seasoned actress to really make me invested into Ellie. And then some of the writing decisions. I'm going to give this season a 6. And that's with me liking how it was shot. And I liked Dina. I liked the actress who plays Dina. I liked the actor who plays Jesse. Pedro, of course, is legend in this season and this show. Tommy even brings a little something, but it's Ellie that really draws it out for me, man. That's my views of season 2. I'm glad that we get a little break from this show for the next year or so, because this season really drained me. But until next time, don't forget that Ellie is the potato daddy. Peace, Snookums.